This is the Kindy Rockstars Podcast, Season 4. Bringing you incredibly talented singers, artists, creators, and producers in the genre of children's music. I'm your host, Patrick Adams. Each episode will feature songs, albums, videos, or live performances, along with great stories from the artists themselves. Kindy Rockstars Season 4 is proud to be supported and sponsored by Waltmania Public Relations, serving the family entertainment community for more than 20 years. And now, on with the show. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Kindy Rockstars. Got a special episode today with my good friend, Steve CoolBeans Pullara. And in addition to hearing some of Steve's great songs, we're going to have a very, I think, apropos topic, especially for Kindy musicians and musicians of all sorts. But we're going to be talking a little bit about the business of music and some key topics there. And then Steve, he is not only a very long time performer, member of the Recording Academy, Grammy winner. He's going to be sharing some of his advice and knowledge on the topics of business and the Recording Academy itself. With all that being said, Steve, welcome back to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me. It's always fun to share and fun to joke around and listen to all our music and topics. Thanks.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's jump right into the business of music, because I think this is really important. And one of the key things as an artist, obviously creating and releasing music is key, but setting up all the foundational elements around yourself to be successful is just as important. And one of the first things I want to talk to you about, because I know you've done this with CoolBeans Music, is setting yourself up as a business. So tell us a little bit about, when you first did it and how it's important to artists out there.
Sure. Well, when I formed CoolBeans Music, I basically did gigs and paid taxes on them. But my accountant said, you need to form a corporation. Now, when you hear the word corporation, you think of buildings and lots of people, but that's not necessarily always a corporation. To be incorporated sets you up properly to accept bookings, to have liability, to also be off of liability. It sets you up to hire people and to pay 1099s to the government and all these things that will make themselves apparent if you don't. So my accountant called and he says, I think you're getting to the point where you gotta make a corporation. So he goes, this is the humorous part. He goes, you have to make a fictitious account. I said, but I'm a real account. He says, I know. So you have to make a fictitious account. It was like, who's on first? I said, I know that, but I'm not fictitious. He goes, but they call it a fictitious account, meaning it's not Steve Pullara's bank account. It's the corporation's bank account. And you got to put money into the account and draw money out of the account. Your company lives in that account. And he says, you've got to register it in your state. So that's what I did. And I also went to my congressman's office, who are totally set up to help you that way. So CoolBeans Music came to life at a congressman's office, and they helped me fill out the papers and shot it right into the State House Treasury Department from there. And the beauty is that my congressman served on the Treasury Board, which really helped too, because they helped me set it up really well. Then from there, for gigs, places won't book you unless you have liability insurance. You could lose a theme park. You could lose a big festival. You could lose a mall because you have to present a liability certificate. And that comes through having corporate liability insurance for your business. Now, why would you want liability insurance for children? I think it's logical. Children aren't allowed on stage. They get on stage somehow. Children do all kinds of things, and it's not always their fault, nor is it always your fault. Just things happen. So you need to get liability insurance for your corporation. So when I sing somewhere, I sing as Steve Pullara, but I'm hired by myself to CoolBeans Music. All checks are made out to CoolBeans Music, the fictitious place that my music lives, apparently. And that's how it goes. And then from there, you need to get a trademark. Now, that's an interesting story in itself. So I was functioning as CoolBeans Music for quite a while. And one day, I was listening to NPR that had an organization on the radio called the Volunteer Lawyers Association. So when lawyers pick their chosen vocation and specialty, it's some kind of tradition where they do pro bono work, which means they're going to do some work for free to put back into the culture and the society. So that day I was listening, and it was very fascinating how they were talking about how musical artists get ripped off, how visual artists get ripped off, how independent artists of all types get ripped off, and that artists need protection, but they don't obviously even know that they have to protect themselves. So I go to my PO box, I open up the box, and I was thrilled. It looked like somebody was going to be licensing one of my songs for the first time ever. As I read into the note, it says they were asking me to stop using the name CoolBeans Music, but I already had registered with the place that they asked to have me stop. And I had been in the business for maybe 10 years already. They were brand new. So they thought that their name was unique. It is, it's mine. And the company that was a licensing company where I had stuff, songs, I shouldn't call it stuff, said, Mr. Pallara's been with us for a very long time. We can't ask him to stop using that name. So after hearing that program on the radio, I called the Regional Volunteer Lawyers Association for the Arts, the VLA. Ours is called the PVLA. And they scheduled a meeting with me, and they said to take somebody on and to be registered with us, you have to bring proof of your corporation and things like that. More than a corporation, instead to show that you've been around for a while and acting as a functioning company that's taking in money, putting it in the bank, and paying your taxes. So I showed up very professionally, and he said, you are the first incorporated artist we have ever had. They said, we have to see your income statement. The humorous part is they had a meeting to vote on me, and they said, you're the first incorporated artist we have ever taken in because you qualify. You're not making any money. I said, well, thank you. So what they did is they hooked me up with somebody who formerly worked for that record company's artist, the new artists that were asking me to stop using my name. And they spoke with them on a three-way phone conversation. And they said, oh, okay. So those artists had to stop using the name CoolBeans Music. And they said, now this is how far back this goes. They said, now you better get a website and claim it as a website. Well, at that time in history, there was only like 2 or 3 companies making websites. So mine came out of England. It was an English website company. Mm-hmm. And there it was, CoolBeans Music. And they said, now you got to get a trademark. So the organization hooked me up with an intellectual property law firm in Philadelphia, well known. And they said, you have to give us proof that you exist. Obviously, not breathing and blinking your eyes is enough, right? So from there, they said, can you design you do exist, you have a business card, and you have stationery, and you have a website. You need a trademark. And we need to get this to the Office of Copyrights and Trademarks in Washington, D.C., and we have to do a search. meaning they have to see if anybody else even has a trademark that looks like yours. So I come from the graphic arts world. I'm an award-winning artist as well. And I came up with something really quick. 2 beans over the word CoolBeans Music. And Art Studio is the official title, because I wanted my corporation to do all kinds of things for children. Because when your lawyer submits your trademark, you have to have a job objective for that. So he said, what do you want to be known for? I said, media for children, books for children, music for children, art for children. He says, okay, let's formally call it CoolBeans Music and Art Studio. So that's how it went. So the design was sent to the copyright office. And back then, it wasn't like Photoshop like you have now. You had to put symbols where your color went in a pattern. So let's say red was lines up and down. Yellow would have been lines horizontal. Visually, kind of a nightmare, but to the lawyers in Washington, they could tell right away. They must have had a program that pulls up things left and right and left. And the search costs money too. Anything that costs money to the firm that was helping me, I had to pay for it. But anything that was lawyer related, they did pro bono. So I designed it real simply with my skills, because I wanted it to get through their board really quick in Washington. Well, the lawyer's paralegal called and she goes, it's very rare that anything has ever gotten through Washington this quick, the copyright office, but you are approved. And you could take the word TM off and put R, meaning registered trademark. Mm-hmm. Now, registered trademark is the most powerful protection you can get, because it means that it's going to be protected by even the treaties of countries we deal with. TM means you're using it, so it shows proof that you've been using it. And it also helps in a case like this. But R means, guys, party's over. Don't even go near it.
Yeah. So do you need to do the TM first and then the R, or can you go straight to?
Yes, because you're going to be doing the TM first, and then you might find you can't use it, but at least it's showing. And I'm not a lawyer, so anybody listening, please listen to a lawyer. I'm giving you what I know, okay? So by having the TM is basically, saying you've claimed it or you're using it. You're paying taxes on it. It's yours for the time being, right? But when you have R, you get accepted by the government, and there's 3 phases to owning it. Every company has to do this, whether you're Ford, Campbell's Soup, Kellogg's cereal. Everybody has to go through it this way. And what it is, so your colors are numeral colors. They're called Pantone matching system, or whatever a printer's colors would be. So you'll see some companies have specific colors. You'll notice it. They own those. Well, they own it in that configuration. And then you are given I believe it's a 5-year probation to use your R. And it's called patrolling the mark. Why is it called that? Because you're supposed to be sending letters to people to stop using it. And you're supposed to be creating products with it. And you're supposed to be putting it on everything. Because after the next 5 years, if it is 5 years, I believe it is, they have to provide that proof to have you renewed. Even on your website, they've used my website for renewal as well. Mm-hmm. After the second batch, then you renew every 10 years. And if you were to sell your company, you would be selling, I believe, the rights to renewal, but you would need a lawyer to transfer it all to you.
Gotcha.
And that's how it goes. Now, I'm able to also use CoolBeans Music without the word and Art Studio. But if you go to my website, it has the full name. Anything CoolBeans Music is me. And I have a lot of usages and patrolling of the mark. It seems like every 2 years, somebody thinks that they own it, and I have to tell them. And you really shouldn't, again, this is only my opinion. Don't talk on the phone. Don't be mean. Just let them know that you have the mark registered in Washington, D.C., and that you'd like them to stop using it. People tend to not want to do that, and then you have to call a lawyer to see what the next steps are. Every time I've challenged it, people have changed their name.
Very
But a
good.
lot of people don't form a band or a company by checking first, and you should. You should.
Yeah.
My publishing, my music, my artwork, all kinds of things that I come up with always have. You know this well because you've dealt with me. CoolBeans Music. What you should do when you write a song, you put your name, Patrick Adams, songs owned by whatever Kindy rock stars or whatever you're calling yourself, right? And that's how it should go. And you got to be very good about it. Whenever you send a song to someone as an MP3, always put the copyright Steve Pullara, and if you can fit it, CoolBeans Music. But somewhere it should say that all your albums that come out should have the year and the publishing company, CoolBeans Music. I had somebody that had the challenge in England. He was publishing in two veins of what mine is registered for, in children's music and making music to protect it in England, but also I believe making his publications worldwide, CoolBeans Music. So I sent him a very nice note, not mean, and I asked him, I said, can you kindly change your name? I've got it registered in the United States. He goes, well, he said to me, technically I don't have to. I'm in another country, but I will. I said, well, technically you have to. I said, because we have a treaty with you. And I said, I can't say that I'm the new Beatles. I said, you're from England. I can't do that. I can't say I'm Super Mickey Mouse. I can't do anything like that. We have to respect each other. So he very nicely has another name. And this goes on every 2 years with somebody. Some people try to quote the law to me with all kinds of things, but the bottom line is they're using the name and they don't have it trademarked because I do. And I can sell that trademark. Like if somebody actually wanted to license it, but I wouldn't give it to them because what am I going to do? I'm not going to reestablish myself. And if I license it to anybody, I can't. I can license. I can approve their product. Like if you had Steve Pullara dolls or something like that, I can say distributed by CoolBeans Music. I don't even know all the things, but if you look at, there's different companies, toy companies that suddenly they picked up a doll or a game and it has their logo on it. That's called licensing. I think lots of times the companies themselves, like CoolBeans Music, want to, let's just make up a, Dayglow checkers or something I'm making up. Then it would say, distributed by CoolBeans Music. And then I would get a piece of the business or something like that. But again, that's where you got to get a intellectual property lawyer. Now, an intellectual property lawyer is the best for this kind of thing because intellectual property protects inventions, artwork, music, movies. It was a funny Monty Python movie, or it might have been Mel Brooks, where it had the endless credits going into outer space about the movie before it started, licensed by, protected by, thought up by. Well, they were making fun of that when I'm discussing, and that's the key. The key is to try and be nice, but it's part of the business, and sometimes it's unpleasant. But the pleasant part is you can sing on a stage your songs and know that nobody can do anything unless that stage is licensed for the music. Because there's organizations I would suggest people join and things I suggest people do. So technically, anytime you write a song, you should register it in one of these three companies because they have a registration area. I'm with ASCAP. So I register my songs with ASCAP, but every song, and it takes time to do this, becomes copyrighted when they're recorded, because it says it right on there. So that marks a date. Copywriting is the right of the copy, showing that you were there first. And then now online, you can copyright with the government, which is even more security. The old way used to fill out a paper form. I had one, I didn't get it until 3 years later. But fortunately, I did all kinds of other things to protect the songs. So these rights organizations are wonderful. ASCAP, BMI, and CSAC. And register once you're accepted there on their page for registering a song. Because what happens is, to your own benefit, if somebody likes one of your songs, let's say like, a big country star or a pop star, they have somebody that has to find it. And they're going to go to one of those places. Because a professional will be in one of those 3 places. Mm-hmm. If you're going to sing a song at a festival and have it not licensed or registered anywhere, you are taking a big risk of losing that song, because you have to prove you did it first. And I'm not saying people are evil, but let's just say somebody might be whistling a tune 3 days after they heard it and forget they even heard it there. And they'll put it out, and then you have all kinds of legal problems. Yeah. So to be a pro is to be a pro. Yeah, we like to sing. We like to entertain children. But you need to protect yourself, too. Yeah. You need to protect all your years. I've got 30-something years into CoolBeans music now. And I would actually say, as CoolBeans music, before that it was Pullara Tunes, which is also registered at ASCAP. And ASCAP's wonderful. They get back to you right away, and you could call them anytime. I mean, obviously when they're sleeping, don't call, but they're internationally recognized. And they have all kinds of seminars going on. They're really good. Another good organization I'm very fond of is the Grammys, although they're called the Recording Academy.
Yeah. And before we launch into that, I kind of want to put a bow on the topic of business. And,
good, sure.
in thinking about, I've set myself up as a company, Patrick Adams Books and Music, and I actually incorporated in Virginia, limited liability corporation. And then when I moved to Nevada, I went ahead and set myself up here. But to your points, I haven't looked into the trademarks yet. So as a to-do after this, I'm definitely going to look into that, because I have several doing business as under my business name.
Yeah.
Kindy Rockstars being one of them.
Put a TM next to it.
Yeah. Lyric Star Music and a couple of other things. So definitely. And for anybody else out there who's listening, who is a children's entertainer and has not looked into this stuff, it definitely sounds like it is a must. For your long-term viability.
Oh my goodness!
Protect your work,
and get a lawyer if you can too.
Exactly. Yeah, and I know there's a lot of places online you can go to. The government being the most secure to request trademarks and things like that. So, but I think the most recognizable trademark, and this will help us segue into the next topic, because any children's artist who submits for the Grammys, they know that Grammy has a nice R next to it.
Oh, yeah.
Grammys is a registered trademark, but you have been part of the Recording Academy for many, many years. And one of the things I know you're doing this season is you are a mentor. So I was wondering if we could talk for the next 5 to 10 minutes about the benefits of being part of the Recording Academy and what you yourself do as a mentor.
Sure. Well, the mentor process is they have to research you to make sure you would know what you're talking about, number one. And I do the best I can. And I always tell people, please contact a lawyer. I'm giving you fundamentals to ask them. All right. And the benefits of joining the Grammys is you get a lot of experience. You start meeting people. You start working on projects. You start writing with other people. You meet people. So to be a mentor is to take a young musician in college under your wing that they have approved and assigned to you, or you'll find this fascinating. In my case this year, they have a marketing major. She's not a musician. So, as you know, I come from the marketing world. I was an art director type person with ideas. And we talked and talked and talked as if we knew each other for a long time. And she's just getting into it. And I gave her questions and I like homework in a fun way. I said, okay, so when you have a new artist, what is your first question to ask your artist as a client, as a marketer? And of course, silence. She wasn't sure. I said, well, you find out what their market is. What's their age group? What's popular subjects? What are subjects you don't talk about? How's their reach? Do they have a website? Do they have a registered trademark? I probably said too. None of those questions she learned in school. Zero. Because music marketing is very, very specific, but it's a good thing to go into. Publicists do that. A good publicist knows her market or his market, and they specialize in the artists. They specialize in that kind of artist. There's some very good ones out there. I don't want to mention any names, but they know me. We know each other. And that's what it's all about, you know? So the mentoring is to pass that on. And she's a very nice person, the woman that's assigned to me. And you'll see like that they do this once a year. And I think that's a good thing that they do. And that's the beauty of being a member, because it broadens. Now, a person who's mentoring, the mentee can become what they call an associate member. An associate member is anybody who doesn't have a product out or ever put out a professional product. And you have to have a 5-year history, I believe. So they would be called associate members. You can do everything in the organization but vote. That's not bad. You can come to the meetings. And students get in free, I think, or half price or something. They're treated very well. So have I met her physically? No. But we struck a beautiful phone conversation as if we've known each other for years. So there's a beauty to that. And I've been mentoring unofficially members for years. A number of them went on to nomination and win in all different fields because the fundamentals are the same. And I've mentored internationally members that have called or been referred to me. And I do it for free because I just feel we're all part of, you know, the same thing. And what's nice is you make lifelong friends. So like say somebody's playing a specific instrument, you've mentored them. And like say you might need that instrument in a recording. It's not that you want a favor. It's that you're part of a, oh, yeah, I remember that student. I wonder if they can play the whatever for me. You know, or they're just adults that need mentoring too. Quite a few. Like I said, they've gone on to be nominees and winners. So I'm always proud when I see that they've advanced into that. And it's because of marketing and presenting themselves professionally too.
Yeah.
So you have a follow-up question for that? Is there anything that I not cover?
No, I think you covered everything, but I do want to give you a personal shout out because I have learned a lot about the Recording Academy from conversations with you. So I am
really?
very, very appreciative of all of the knowledge you share. And again, I consider myself a mentee of yours in that regard.
Oh my goodness, that means you might get a nomination.
Fingers crossed. One of these days. All right. Well, hey, we really, really appreciate your insight and advice on the business stuff. But you yourself are a wonderful musician who has put out many, many years of great music. So I think we're going to cover a couple of songs here for you from a few of your albums. So as we dig into each song, you can talk about the album that it came from, tell a little bit of the story about the song, and then we'll play the song here in the show. And we'll do that for a couple of songs. So we'll start off with a song called Zooboogie.
Cool.
So tell us a little bit about the album this came from and what inspired this song.
Well, I've always grown up around parents and my uncles and aunts were into the 1940s music. So I liked that sound. Louis Prima, big band, and sound effects from cartoons. So, and stories. So the whole album is in that tone. Stories, animal sounds, everything was made by hand and voice, you know? So the opening song is me doing all these animal sounds, track after track, like boo, 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 ah, ah, because ironically, tomorrow I am singing at the zoo. I think the animals know me personally at this time. So that song in particular is the opening track, Zooboogie, because it's boogie kind of music, you know, but it sets the tone. And the whole album has stories and animal sounds. And I am playing the guitar and flute on there on the whole album. I don't know, the opening track does not have that, but I did hire a saxophonist for the album, my CoolBeans band, drums and bass. I did all the harmonies and keyboard as well was played. And it was just a lot of fun. And the album went on to win 2 major awards, Parents' Choice and Napa Awards. And it got written up in the Philly Inquirer, of all places, if I'm not mistaken. And it's been, I'm going to be doing songs from it tomorrow. It's a perfect song to play at the zoo. And the album itself, I do songs from it. And in albums for children, I always try to build in various interactive songs, because when you're doing them live, children are very antsy. So you got to have some songs that they're going to do physical things with you, and also build in stuff that mom and dad can be brought up on stage to do with you too. And that's what I do. And the songs always have a certain formula, not the songs themselves, but the album, so that they become useful to the culture, you know? So when a teacher's looking for stuff like that in schools too, interactive and also storytelling songs. In this album in particular, but I don't have it as a sample today. You can always play it on your show. It's the penguin story. Apparently, a little bit before I wrote the song, somebody inspired me. One of my friends inspired me about this story that made the newspaper, that a boy or girl actually kidnapped a penguin from a zoo trip and put it in their carry bag. And the parent goes, the kid's got a penguin. They don't know how the kid got the penguin, but apparently they had a penguin in the house, and they had to call the zoo. So I thought that's a great kid's song, you know? So the song is all about that. You
can almost make a children's book out of that one.
It's called The Penguin Rescue, if I'm not mistaken. Because you got to remember, this album was done, my goodness, 15 to 20 years ago already. Time has flown. So it's a funny song, and how the little boy has got it in the bathtub flipping around, and you know, I made up a little scenario. So you might like that. And it was a fun song. The whole album's loaded with fun, and but I also do lots of research. I want to make sure that I have the countries right where these animals are, or the sounds right, or the motions right. So that's the first song is setting the tone for that. And you'll hear it's all in stereo. We've got sounds of the animals all over the speakers, and special kudos to my co-producer Pat on this, because he's like my studio genius, and excellent musician, bass, guitar, keyboards, all kinds of whatever I envision. He knows exactly what I'm trying to do. We've been working together for so long. We finish each other's sentences, you know. Good guy. And the band was great too.
Excellent. All right. Well, let's play this song, which if you're playing at a zoo, I would assume this one's mandatory. You got to play it.
It's tomorrow.
Here it is. Zooboogie by Steve CoolBeans Pullara.
It's been a long day at our zoological park. Ever wonder what goes on after dark? When the lights go out, the animals are dancing at the zoo. Zooby-doo. When the lights go out, the animals are dancing at the zoo. Zooby-doo. Red rooster calls a party with a cock-a-lee-doodly, doodly, 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 doo. The elephants are stomping their feet to the music. Left, right, left, right. The hippos are doing the same kind of stomping. Left, right, left, right. While the seals are clapping the time well into the night. Orangutans are swinging their arms way up in their trees, while the rhesus monkeys are sitting below, slapping their knees, as the grizzly honey bear conducts an orchestra, a buzzy bee. When the lights go out, the animals are dancing at the zoo. Zooby-doo. When the lights go out, the animals are dancing at the zoo. Zooby-doo. Red rooster calls a party with a cock-a-lee, doodly, 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 doo. Animals are happy when the people go home, 'cause girls, they love to party when they're left alone. They can be as wild as they used to be, 'cause people to them are people, you'll never see them dance. The ostrich buries her head in a hole to hear the sound that has those lemurs grooving way, way underground. They're bopping with the gophers who are whirling round and round and round. The penguins are waddling in tuxedos, dancing so formal, while the turtles are so inhibited in their shells. That's normal. And the owl doesn't give a hoot as the naked mole rats dance in their birthday suits. When the lights go out, the animals are dancing at the zoo. Zooby-Doo. When the lights go out, the animals are dancing at the zoo. Zooby-Doo. Red Rooster calls a party with a cockily-doodly, doodly, 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 doo. Red Rooster calls a party with a cockily-doodly, doodly, 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 doo. Red Rooster calls a party with a cockily-doodly, doodly, 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 doo.
And that was Zooboogie. All right. The next song we're going to talk about is from an album called, and correct me if I'm wrong, A Big Bowl of Musicroni.
There you go. Yep,
It's called Pasta, Pasta, Pasta. One of my favorite foods, but tell us a little bit about that album and this song.
Well, the words Zooboogie and Musicroni actually fall in what we're talking about today. So I trademarked those two words. I made them up. So I don't want to see like a pizzeria called the Musicroni Pizzeria. I own that word. And that album was created because my nieces and nephews were starting to get an impression of our Sicilian heritage as mafia. And I said, that's not us, you know? Oh, but the show is good. I know for you, but it's not good for certain kinds of people. I didn't like what it did to about our culture, and I don't want the kids to know that. So I started reading about Italian Americans coming to this country, the type of music, the type of artists that have contributed to our culture, like Louis Prima, people that came, our own grandparents, their stories. The whole album is loaded with that, and I ended up learning to play the flute for that album. So all the flute work is me on that album, and mandolin. So Pasta, Pasta, Pasta was a song about, guess what? Pasta. So what I did is I researched all the names of pasta and tried to put them to rhythm and rhyme. And that one is done in concert almost all the time too. And then a surprise happened. And now, mind you, this song on the album, and everything here that you're listening to got airplay, pretty much to my knowledge. That song in particular is, I was showing somebody how to use Spotify, actually a chef, because I'm presuming that they were setting up music for what's being played in their restaurants, you know? So he goes, Steve, by the way, you know, that song, look how many hits it's got. I said, really? Thousands. I didn't know this. I still don't know how. He goes, and my friends are jokers, so, you know, I figure he's fooling around. He says, no, look, Patrick, it was so many, I never saw that many hits on anything like that, other than the More Teeth Missing song that I think had nearly 30,000 or something. Mm-hmm. So all I remember is once I gave a free CD to a pizzeria because I know the guy that owns it, and maybe their cooks put it in the music being played in a restaurant, because that's a lot, you know? And that's another good thing for people. Register your songs with any of the registration companies and make sure you're in Sound Exchange, because royalty traction is so much easier now than a piece of paper hoping somebody files it. So I would suggest that too. And so that's the story of it. And I wanted it done in Louis Prima style. And I hired a saxophone player, and the band they grew up like I did through that era. And so he said, pasta, pasta, pasta. I can't eat no more pasta. And then I wanted a nuclear explosion sound because he goes, pasta, pasta, I can't eat no more pasta, 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 cause I'm gonna explode. And in the end, you're boom. That's how the song ends.
That actually cracked me up when I heard that. I was almost expecting it, but to finish the song off that way,
You hear it in
was
full
perfect.
stereo, full dimensional stereo. Imagine pizza exploding all over your house or something.
Oh my God. All right. Well, let's play this song. Here we go.
Okay.
Pasta, Pasta, Pasta by Steve CoolBeans Pullara.
Baba basta, basta, basta. I can't eat no more pasta. Baba basta, basta, cause I'm gonna explode. Basta, basta, basta. I can't eat no more pasta. Baba basta, basta, cause I'm gonna explode.
He's gonna explode.
On ravioli,
He's gonna explode.
on mastacholi,
He's gonna explode.
on the lasagna. No more mama.
He's gonna explode.
On the baked ziti,
He's gonna explode.
on the linguine,
He's gonna explode.
on the pastina. Oh, mamma mia, mama, my pants are too tight. I'm gonna explode tonight. Mama, my pants are too tight. I'm gonna explode tonight. Mama, my pants are too tight. I'm gonna explode tonight. Mama, my pants are too tight. I'm gonna explode tonight. Basta, basta, basta. I can't eat no more pasta. Basta, 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 cause I'm gonna explode. Basta, basta. I can't eat no more pasta. Basta, 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 cause I'm gonna explode.
He's gonna explode.
On vermicelli,
He's gonna explode.
on cavatelli,
He's gonna explode.
on manicotti. Oh, mama, gonna explode.
He's gonna explode.
On the farfalle,
He's gonna explode.
on the rotini,
He's gonna explode.
on the spaghetti. Mama, tell you when I'm ready. Basta, basta, basta. I can't eat no more pasta. Basta, basta, cause I'm gonna explode. Basta, basta. I can't eat no more pasta. Basta, basta, cause I'm gonna explode.
All right. That is Pasta, Pasta, Pasta. And that's what I'm having for dinner tonight.
Good for
Moving
you.
on. Last song we're going to feature.
Explode.
Last song we're going to feature is called At My Planetarium. So tell us a little bit about the album here and this song.
That's our latest album that's out that has done very well with awards and buzz and all kinds of things. So a song like At My Planetarium as an artist opens up a lot of worlds of education and fun. And even special ed classes. A special ed teacher said they really liked the song and the album. So the song in particular talks about everything that you'd be looking for at a planetarium. Stellar clusters, the various planets. I go through so many subjects there, and trying to get a rhythm going and a chorus and a story, but not being just so, what's the word I'm looking for? Just where it doesn't hold your interest. And then putting it in a bed of sound effects of things, asteroids flying by. Like one, I tell you to duck because it's coming right at you, and it's recorded in really good stereo. We made it really 3D, going in and out of speakers. We put a lot of time into sitting in the middle of a room and listening to how the speakers are going, because all the songs you're hearing today, and all of them always, we try to make them fully dimensional for the experience in your car or on the radio, streaming, making sure they're going to work well there now too. In your car stereo, there's a lot of times, every album, it's given to me before it goes to manufacturing to listen to it in my car. And then to try to understand that my car isn't the final word, because different people who may have contributed to the album, when their tracks were given to me, may have sounded different in their stereos. So you got to find a way that everybody is being accounted for, but the places that they should be in. And that's where good producers sit down with you and we listen to all the tracks and make up artwork, where everything is, because you really have to do that. I tend to think in every one of my songs as a cartoon or a little movie.
Mm-hmm.
So a kid with a big telescope looking and, here comes an asteroid and all these different things that are in there. And it starts off with space sounds and ends with space sounds. We just think that that's what space sounds are. Nobody really, what are space sounds when we get communication with someone? But we also concentrated on electronic stuff that you might hear in your own computers, because that automatically makes your brain start thinking of space. Is that what you felt too when you heard it?
Yeah. And for everybody listening, go back to my last season 3, where we did an album feature on this album, Aliens, Astronauts, and Asteroids.
Yes. You were the first, I think.
Yeah. No, it's a great album.
Thank you.
But I don't believe this song that we're going to play today was part of that feature. So an extra bonus for people from that one. So let's check it out. Here it is, At My Planetarium by Steve CoolBeans Pullara.
There you go.
At my planetarium, I look into the sky, peering deep in outer space while things are flying by. See asteroids, meteors, comets and stars, planets and moons, red craters on Mars, rings of Saturn, Milky Ways, Aurora Borealis, and solar haze. I wanna go up there, but I'm down here, high above into the stratosphere, up there like an astronaut, but I'm a kid here. Hey, come dream with me. I see black holes and suns, stars and gases, light years away in molecular masses, sunspots, eclipses, satellites, moons in the day and suns at night. Duck, it's meteor shower. Hey, duck, here comes an asteroid. Duck, here comes space debris. Duck, it's headed towards me. I wanna go up there, but I'm down here, high above into the stratosphere, up there like an astronaut, but I'm a kid here. Hey, come dream with me. Gamma rays and galactic clusters with magnetic gravity and luminous luster. It's so infinite in a state of change. Is it permanent or will it rearrange? I wanna go up there, but I'm down here, high up into the stratosphere, up there as an astronaut, but I'm a kid here. Hey, come dream with me. Oh, dream with me. Hey, come dream with me. Hey, come dream with me.
And that was At My Planetarium. All right. Well, Steve, again, thank you for coming on the show today. Thank you for covering off these important topics. How can people find and connect with you? And do you have any last advice for all the people listening out there?
Sure. You can go to my website, CoolBeansMusic.com or StevePullara.com, and they both connect to each other. And you can see all the recordings I have, all the collaborations I've had. And you can hear songs and see footage of me too through my different ages of Steve Pullara land. And I would also like to say this too. I gave advice on things that were shared with me, to me by very well-meaning people, but I'm not a lawyer. I want you to call a lawyer yourself. So it's not legal advice. It's just showing you things that you need to do to be a professional. A lawyer will guide you with the right terminology, the right time frames, and talk to an accountant about the right way to set yourself up, corporate or LLC. And those are whole conversations on their own there. But thank you for giving me the privilege of sharing with my greater community. It's always fun to talk with you and share the music.
Absolutely. Well, I really, really do appreciate you coming on. Again, good friend of the show.
Oh my goodness.
Love your work, and thank you. Thank you for everything. Thank you for sharing.
You're very welcome. Very welcome. Thanks for having me, and come again.
All right. Take care.